This ruling is just one more sign that we no longer have any campaign laws that really matter. More and more, the very rich are taking control of our politics. They don't control it yet, but their influence just keeps growing, and this ruling will make it easier for them. The question is, what are we getting for all this money? Does anyone really believe Washington is working better than it used to? I don't.
All right, there's Bob Schieffer. Ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome in our friend David Bossie. He, of course, is the founder and president, chairman of Citizens United, who won a big court case not too many years ago themselves. And you must be smiling from ear to ear, Dave.
Well, you know what? I am. Thanks for having me back first. But you know what I am? I'm really happy for Mr. McCutcheon. I think that it really takes courage to take on the resources of the United States government. That's what he did. That's what we did many years ago with a very similar type of a case, which was grounded in the First Amendment, our free speech rights, and that's what he believed were being infringed in his case. And I'll tell you, I mean, there's a lot of people around the country who, on a daily basis, feel that their rights are being infringed. And I have it happen to me on occasion, and you kind of shrug and you say, there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. And this gentleman decided, you know what? Enough's enough. I'm not going to take it anymore, and I'm not going to allow the government to violate my First Amendment rights, and I'm going to take them to court. And that's why he was on offense, not on defense. And that's similar to what we did many years ago. That's why it's Citizens United versus the Federal Election Commission. We were on offense. We sued them. I went, looking for the fight with them, in essence. And that's what Mr. McCutcheon did as well, is he said, I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm taking the fight to the United States government in court. And that's really a wonderful thing that we can do here in America.
When you hear Bob Schieffer, as we just played that soundbite leading into you, hey, so what kind of government is this getting us? And it's not fair. Money's going to play a big part in this. And, what do you think?
Sure it does, Steve. Steve, yeah, you're right, Bob. Barack Obama, in that instance, bought the presidency, if that's the case, because, he outspent John McCain dramatically. The only one who had to abide by McCain-Feingold was John McCain. And there's a lot of irony and a lot of humor involved in that. But he passed a unconstitutional law that ended up handicapping him in his presidential campaign against Barack Obama. And then he outspent Mitt Romney, who by all accounts is a lot richer guy than and had a lot of rich friends, by all accounts, than Barack Obama. So I think that the argument that money just buys it's just not accurate.
What do you think the State of the Union is going to be like in 2015? You think the Supreme Court will get another dressing down by our commander-in-chief?
Well, I just have to say that the Supreme Court's lucky they don't have to sit at the State of the Union next week, because the president would be wagging his finger, lecturing them as the constitutional scholar that he claims to be, where he clearly doesn't know the law. He first of all should read the First Amendment, but it is, this Supreme Court is its own body and its own entity, and what they're able to do is do the work of the American people for the American people without worry, and that's what they should do, is without worry of retribution. And what the president did when he dressed down the Supreme Court during the State of the Union, immediately after our ruling, where he lectured them about money and politics and the court doing the wrong thing. I think that harms the presidency and it harms the Supreme Court, because it just erodes the confidence that the American people have in our government.
David, the left has taken this, especially Harry Reid, and has run with it as more ammunition against the Koch brothers. as if the Koch brothers, first of all, what he's doing is reprehensible, taking to the floor of the Senate day after day after day as the majority leader of the United States Senate and calling these men un-American. And now he's talking about they're so rich and they're so evil. Of course, I've documented how much money, how many millions and hundreds of millions they've given in New York City alone to cancer and kids and hospitals, you name it. But you know, they're trying to frame this as the Koch brothers, as if there's nobody on the other side, on Harry Reid's side, with money that's pouring it into the system as well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's the, you know, too numerous to name here, the amount of millionaires and billionaires on the left that support their causes, Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi's causes.
We can start with George Soros. That's one,
right.
yeah.
I mean, he's the easiest name to pick out of the hat, but there's a lot of guys like him, men and women like him, who are radical leftists who want to undermine our country at every turn, and that's where they spend their money. And you know what? It's okay, because we have our ideas. In my book, our ideas, you know, will win and will win out over theirs. And I think the American people are very smart. Unfortunately, you know, we have a president here who really has just done everything he can to undermine the Constitution over the last 6 years, and we just have to survive the next two to hopefully get back on track.
And of course, the you know, the unions. And the millions and millions and millions that they pour into the Democratic side, he doesn't count that either.
No, never count the unions. I mean, the left loves to talk about the Koch brothers, but the left never wants to admit that for the last, you know, 30 years or more, that the unions, which have grown dramatically in power and scope, influence, and money, have been able to, up until our case, till the Citizens United ruling, was able to spend money on politics and not have to, you know, live by any of the rules that the rest of us do. So you know, so our case leveled the playing field from that standpoint.
And where do we go from here, David? Finally, I mean, what's next in the battle against the FEC and regulations, if there is any?
Well, look, I just think from a First Amendment standpoint, the next case coming down, which I think will be, you know, we're going to hear from the Supreme Court in June, is my expectation, will be the Hobby Lobby case, and that is, you know, a fundamental First Amendment of corporations, and whether or not a corporation has the First Amendment right to be able to, within the to use the First Amendment through its religious rights, and I think that that's going to be the same type of decision here. We're going to hopefully see a 5-4 decision in favor of Hobby Lobby, and I think we'll be visiting again real soon, I hope.
All right, David, always great to talk to you, and congratulations, and keep that smile on.
Thank you very much.
Take care. David Bossie, ladies and gentlemen. Great to talk to him, President and Chairman of Citizens United. Of course, we're discussing yesterday's 5-4 Supreme Court decision, which struck down a decades-old cap on the total amount that an individual can contribute to federal candidates in a 2-year election cycle. So, you know, again, the dishonesty in the presentation of their reaction, feigning outrage, feigning, oh, woe is us, poor us, we're going to be victimized by this decision, because the money in politics is one-sided. Only the Republicans have money. Only the conservatives have money. Only the Koch brothers have money. And woe is us with this decision. We're now at a disadvantage. So you could bet they're going to use this decision, distort the facts, claim what I just said they're claiming, and put the Koch brothers in the letter and send out the letters looking for contributions, because they do that so well. They misrepresent the issue. They demagogue an issue, and they pick boogeymen. And again, I'm just saying, it's dangerous. Dangerous. It was dangerous what they did to the AIG executives and made them into villains, how Obama made them into villains. It's dangerous how Harry Reid and the left are going after the Koch brothers, calling them un-American. And I mean dangerous in a physical sense and every other sense. It's not good. And it's not what America's all about. It's Harry Reid who is acting un-American, as a matter of fact. We're coming back with Gimme 5 on the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax Television.